Guys, I hope you're fine wherever you are. Now, there are matters that happen and we have to talk about them. However much we may consider as noisy, we are just doing it so that we serve the future nation. Now, I'm not a stereotype fella, but now Kisses in the house. Hey, tell me if somebody watches the video here or wherever it is, will they really want to be married in Kisii? We've seen a lot of things that are funny, like Embarambamba, we've seen more and more. But now when it comes to the aspect of like killing the old women because they're witches or witchcraft that happens, then we are scared. Man, there is this other video that Linda did, a whole family with the people with a challenge that is very common and nobody knows why. Now, when I look at IEBC, I don't know how it will be called very soon because in Kenya, we are dynamic. Things change overnight. People are saying Nyachae will not be picked because he may declare Matiang'i the president. Talk about Kenyans. Kenyans can be prospective of everything. And sometimes whatever they prospect happens. So if you know, you know. And if you don't know about it, forget about it. I always say that. Now, let's get back to this lady who went for a funeral of an ex. Hey, then what happened? She was forced to throw soil into the grave. Or was it on the coffin? Because I saw, literally, it was just like a coffin. And they were forcing her to throw soil on it and she was wailing. And up to now, the father has said he will return the 50,000 and the one cow that they brought. Now, I wouldn't return if it were me. Why? Because when you came to pay that, you ate. And people sat and an agreement was written. So how then will you detonate the aspect of bond of marriage here? Now, it's unfortunate that the two had separated, and by the time the deceased died in an accident, they were not together. And she kept calling the family and nobody would pick. That's from her explanation. Just let's watch the video so that I'm not talking for the lady. After all, she's here. Yeah, so let's watch this. It's a sad issue anyway.
Aweke mshanga wake na hiyo mawazo ya kukataa tunaipinga. Mawashiria masio makoragane kwa madogo.
So can you imagine, many of us were watching and we were like, I went to the inbox very fast. You know, I normally run there because that's where you can see clouds and variety of thoughts. And unfortunately, even ladies were like, okay, may an accident fought my ex. And I was like, so do you want to go to such a funeral? And some were like, I'll never go for a funeral of an ex, even if they are paid dowry. And then there was another who was saying, why wasn't she throwing soil? Was she a witch? I was like, okay, come on. So are you Kenyans supporting that when a woman goes for a funeral, they must throw soil? I will be waiting to see a man who will be forced to throw soil also. You know, some of us are very gender sensitive. And when such things happen to our gender, then we are like, okay. So how many people also support that the same happens when a woman dies and a man is there attending burial? You know, many people don't even care what the man does. You know, that's the irony of the situation now. It's sad that I saw the people, they were like pastors. If you look at that video, they are like pastors, people from the church, and they are saying in the name of God. Who in the name of God performs rituals? Those are more of rituals. And if, for example, you are saved, you wouldn't go into the world of rituals. And when you go into details about what she said later, she said even they went forcing soil into her private parts and saying she wouldn't ever be married elsewhere. She would never have the desire for men. Now, who does that? Why wouldn't you want a woman who was an ex to your son to get another man? I mean, we've seen situations whereby such a woman gets a man that will take care of your kids. And remember, these are your grandchildren. King Ang always says, a sad situation. And I think it's a sad situation that many women should learn from. Now, many were like, hey, I'm a Kisii, but I can't marry a Kisii. Others were like, hey, Kisii, just forget about it. And I was like, okay, are these stereotypes or reality about what Kisiis do? Now, people in the house tell me, in your culture, is it by force that a woman must throw soil into the grave to show that they didn't kill? Or is it a ritual, sort of? And what is the ritual for? What is it meant for? You know, some of these things we don't know about them because of the current life and the modern life, that we are not paying attention a lot to this. But to tell you the truth, when you go to cultural aspect, I'm telling you, you go for a funeral, whether it's a wife or husband, be careful. I've seen situations whereby you look at videos, and they are movies, but they are trying to show reality. Like, they would even force you to take water that washed the dead body. You get it? That's how bad African culture sometimes is. The whites in the house and Indians and what have you, Japanese, Chinese people, share with us. Does such cultural aspect happen in your countries? Like, would you be forced to take water that washed the body of a dead wife or husband to prove that you didn't kill? In some situations, if you put on slippers, for example, and your feet are open, the sister to the dead will step on your feet. And if you ever had an affair, then you won't live long. You get such cultures? I'll share details of this another day. But that's what people believe. Sometimes, again, if it's a grass-thatched house, that time they're just, you know, you're just from the grave and heading to the house. They'll pull some grass and it will fall. And if you cross over, you won't live long again. Now, the other culture that I know of is when your husband is dead or wife and you eat the meat from that cow that was killed to serve. They say it's serving as vegetables, but I'm telling you, culture is culture. And I'll give you details another time if you ask. So this meat, if you eat from it, you won't live long again. So that's why you find when your husband dies or your wife, the person who cooks for you is the trustee from your side. Because now they'll find that meat from the butchery, not from this other one. I'm telling you, these are the few cultures I've studied, and I'm like, okay, what about this one from Kisii, this culture? Now, the lady, again, was in an interview, and she was trying to explain what exactly they did to her, and it was like very obnoxious, you know? Obnoxious aspects. And I was like, okay, Matiang'i, tell us, can this happen? Can this happen? Can you allow this to happen when you are around? Nyachae, tell us. Eh? Eh? We have these cultures that I just think they are backward and they should stop. Because how do you force somebody to throw soil? And in fact, it's an ex, and she has 2 kids that belong to this man. And life has to go on. Come on. The way I know Kisiis, I don't want to be... I said earlier I'm not stereotyped, but I'm telling you, when it comes to body matters, how can you prevent somebody, like you are trying to imprison them over somebody who is dead? Yes? Yeah, so this woman was so much hurt. And I think I'll be just attaching the picture of the men who are responsible. I think by now they have been arraigned. And that's congrats. We have to play guitars and clap for these people who did what they did to arraign these people here. Yeah, so just watch at the background and you'll see them. And I think you need to also listen to her side of the story, as she's saying, I'm the woman who was in that video and this is what happened to me. So let's watch this again.
Tarehe 5 mwezi wa 3 nilikuwa kazi, nikapigiwa simu, bwanangu amepata accident na wamama wa soko. So nikamwambia sijajua hiyo kitu. Akaniambia amepata accident, nasikia amepata accident place inaitwa Mutagara na ameaga. That night sikulala, nilikuwa na my colleague huko place inaitwa Naisaya, nikaenda nikawaamsha, nikamwambia sikia kitu iliniambia.
And on watching this I'm like, oh, where are we heading to in this generation? The postmodern generation. How can it happen that people can do actually what they did here? I was like, can this still happen in this generation? Keep watching Nigerian movies and we are surprised at what we see. But I'm telling you, if movies were to be acted in the actual cultural backgrounds of Kenyan people, they would be beyond Afro cinema, I'm telling you, just beyond. Because you can imagine like what I saw, if I have an AI tool and it generates that, it adds something from Mukambani, another from Luya, another from Luo. My goodness, that would be a masterpiece on culture. So now, I just hope that this lady will get the justice she deserves. And so many people are with her. They were supporting her and telling her to go for deliverance. Of course, God can never leave you. You cannot be imprisoned in cultures that you don't believe in. So if at all your father is ready to return the Pride Prize, and maybe you forget about the bond, and remember, these people will be arraigned in court. Maybe they'll be charged. They'll have to pay something for whatever harassment they conducted. So it's clear. Yes. It's clear then that you'll be set free, my sister. You'll be set free. Don't have any fear as long as you trust in God and you know that God is the only one that works. No human being should actually make you fear for your life. They don't have power over you. Now, another thing now that I'll teach ladies is if you have an ex and you call the family when there is a case of bereavement and they are not responding, forget about it. It is not your making. Yeah? Just drop the message to them of whatever has happened and forget about it. Don't go to such funerals. And if at all you have to go, what we do in our culture, you go with your people. And most times, you just attend that burial when you are alert. If anything is astray, then your vehicles are set and you go in and go away. Because you're just paying the tribute to the dead and maybe with your kids. Or if you don't have kids there, you've done your part and forget about it and go away. You don't even wait for the burial time. It was unfortunate because this lady went alone, seems so. And this happened to her. So it's a lesson to us ladies. If you've had an ex, you realize the family is not very friendly. She was talking about whatever the family did in past and all that. But people are people. When whoever was your lover dies, sometimes they become animalistic. So you just have to be keen. Yeah? Watu wa Kiswahili ama ni watu gani husema kwamba ulale jicho moja likiwa wazi. Yeah. So guys, bye bye. It's unfortunate, but we are hoping that this lady will get the justice she deserves. Sasa mtu anafanya video unaitika itika. Masauti anatokea tu. Nye.